Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Enable recruiting job areas. See, these settings, which we will do is for whole tenant wise, I would say. Certain fields are related to recruitment and which I will discuss. Some are important and some will skip it out. As I said, see here in this enable recruiting job areas, here everything I would say we are going to do every minute. Details in Workday. We are going to check and we are configuring to the client. And we ask them that the client Workday provides this option, right? Client says yes. If client says yes, then we are going to document all those things in Excel. However, not that great important feature in this setup. And when it comes to high referral ranking on my referral activity, this is a newly added feature. If you want to hide referral ranking, we can do that. For that, actually, we will enable this feature. When we know we have multiple referrals, if particular referral is going well, it has that higher ranking, then we won't. We don't want that to be visible. This we will do for that particular. When it comes to this feature, enable recruiting referral levels. It means like which all levels will be participated in the referral programs. Important feature is coming up referral ownership level. This might be, pretty much important because very important field also as well. See we will be seeing in real time also, right? Like there are people who will be referring, right? Who will get the ownership? Who will get the referral bonus? For that there will be levels. I would say there are two types like candidate level. Candidate level of ownership means a referring first come, first set. When it comes to job application, I suppose you like Hammond will be referring one candidate named Rahul for Java developer. Same candidate Shokandala will be referring for C++ developer. But I will be referring for Python developer. He has multiple skill sets. But here that he will be selected for example, the job application which I shared at last moment for Python. The ownership will come to Python for me. I mean to say it's not going to be on the first come first. It is only through the job application, which he is getting selected. If I'm sharing at last moment, but I got a selection right. I mean the job application which has been shared for Python. I would say this is into job application. And most of the times, here real-time candidate level only. We will choose. Actually, we will walk through all those things. This is important. Rest of the future which I explained, these are not that important. But however, we will just walk through, as I said, all those things. Again, referral ownership period, like how many months we would want the person to be the owner of, maybe 12 months, 24 months. That again, client will tell. Based upon that, and this features what we are going through now. Is it the kind of features what you get for a recruiter on a requisition? No. Hemant, see, these are features. When we are setting up, client will give few things not 100% important even in interviews. Also, they won't ask these things. But this referral ownership might be asked. And enable interview scheduling calendar integration. This feature might be asked. I'll just walk through maybe 2, 3 features they'll ask to do that. But basically, right now, what we are trying to discuss, is it like we are trying to grant back access? No, like when we start the implementation and all what happens, client will give you a few things to set up the tenant. That is this going to be a one-time thing? Yes, of course, based upon the client, one-time thing. For example, if you are going to the job and then do I have to do it? Do I have to set it up again? No. When we start the implementation phase at the initial stage, client will tell. Not everything. Again, it's based on the customer, which he'll ask to select this thing. Other than that, not, pretty much important. Just the way we do HCMM also right. Few things. For the recruitment, these are all features. Just I want to walk through because that you guys will understand. Slowly, we'll go step by step. That then will come into the, will prevent referral if candidate. These are, I would say Workday delivery. Default, you will get the option. See prevent referral if candidate is already applied for the job recognitions. I'll show you today. How the job requisition. Just I'll walk through for a couple of minutes. And yesterday Hemant was also asking regarding, external career site. I'll show those links and all for 2 to 5 minutes. That will just go. We'll go slowly. Hemant and Shagandala. Even if it is 2, 3 sessions, more also will take, and at the end, my motive is to, make you guys to be understanding each and every concept. And I would request each of you to be going through everyday classes. You go through the classes one time and you try to practice at the same moment. Like today class, tomorrow you practice it up that you'll get some doubts right. Tomorrow you can ask me actually. Once this job requisition starts now, our real work will start. We're going to design each and everything business processes, everything and all. Till this time, this theory, this thing, little things we'll go through. In this, I would say that the one which I'm showing, maybe hardly 3 to 4 features will be important. Not more than that. And interview questions in this. Probably this they might ask. Referral ownership will be like candidate level. This they might ask. However, I'll give you all those things at the end moment. But let us work. As I said, these are work to deliver. Duplicate referrals policy. These will be, prevented referral if candidate is already applied for the job requisition. There will be job requisition, which I'll show you. And prevent referral if there are potential duplicate prospect for the same job requisition. These are all work to deliver and prevent referral if this person already exists for any job requisition or area. Prevent referral if the candidate has a duplicate referral with an active owner. Nothing to check on this, but however, system will take those things. And again, enable exact match for duplicate referrals. If you click on this exact match, it will take, maybe based on a well number, email, ID, all those things. It might take default. I would say, again, the next feature would be like in the enable candidate matching. This is not important, but however, in some situations, we require actually this feature. See, we will be looking for some job applications, right? Like the same job application between merging and C. Have you heard about merging and purging? Have you heard about merging and purging? No, right. I'll explain you everything. Merging means just, see here, when it comes to recruiting terminology. When a candidate is referred, by 3 job applications, right? In that case, the data wanted to be accumulated into single record. All the 3 job applications, however, might be shared. There will be that job application. However, it will share 3 job applications will be there for a single candidate. It will be merging into a single data. This is merging. Merging means usually, removing the candidate from entire system. That I'll show you a little later, not now. Just we'll walk through things. And once we give this feature enable candidate, automatic candidate merging, what happens? What the automatically merges such kind of records. And we have to check that box. And when it comes to recruit, the overload counter. This is, this will tell how many candidates can be, assigned or shared by that particular recruiter, maybe for that job requisition. Maybe, suppose just a moment. $50. Maybe for that particular, job requisition or recruiter, maybe he can share not more than 30. Like that, if you give the number, it will take according to that. And, when it comes to enable interview scheduling calendar integration, this is very much important. And in this setup, actually, very, very important. I'll give you this as an interview question. Actually, at that moment, I'll be doing these things. See, during this integration stage of job application of business process, we often, require scheduling the interviews, right? In that, we're going to schedule only through Outlook or Google Calendar. And if you want only to be into Workday to give that kind of notification, you select none of the audio. It requires integrations and client gives us the credentials. I'll tell you one example. If you want to do integration with Outlook client, will give us the credentials. Then we'll be able to log in into Outlook from Workday. That's why a lot of cost has been involved in the training. We don't have option to integrate with Outlook and Google Calendar, especially in the training. Usually in the real time, this integration will happen through either Outlook or Google integrations. Apart from that, location types for interview scheduling. This is like on which particular location interviews are going to be scheduled. Just a moment. Which location is going to be scheduled, and probably this, see the data building cubicle headquarters. These are all usually, in implementation. HCMM people will be doing all those activities, not from the recruitment end. These are all. This is basically where the interview is going to happen. That is what. And when it comes to web conference integration system, this is a new field which I was also not much aware of. This. And in interviews also, they won't ask this thing. What I feel personally also. Maybe you can. I'm not sure on this. One moment. Yes. Please, please. Please, Shagendar. Go ahead. When in the enable interviews scheduling calendar integration, if you choose either the Microsoft Outlook or the Google Calendar, what would the next steps be then in real time? Do we have to configure something or is it taken care in the backend? No, this will be like interview schedulers will be there. They will be taken care through Outlook and all. I'll show you those screens. I'll share you all the screens and all as in when it is required. While we are going through this interview, business processes, right? I'll explain in those. While I show those interview, business processes and all, I'll explain a few things, but in our tenant it is not possible. As I said here, it is not. Understand? Not in the tenant, but in the real time, if you are asked to check in either one of them, you check in the boxes. What happens next? See, usually, if we select this Microsoft Outlook, it happens to be scheduled by the scheduler and a team will be there from interview scheduling team. And they'll be taking care and doing those which I'll show you, those things. Got it. But our job is just to select one option and be done with it. And we have nothing else to be. Just see what happens if you select Google Calendar. Most of the time, suppose, if you select none of the above. Also, this is a notification to the candidates. Like it requires, integrations. And for these clients, will give us the credentials if you select none of them. I mean to say this feature, I'll explain you. Maybe probably, I need to share the screen and I'll explain. No worries. Still a lot of time is there, interview, business process, all those things. But, however, we'll go through all those things. And candidate at home account. As we fill all suppose a candidate is going for a job requisition, he's applying for a job. He'll apply and he'll give all those details. That moment and time, welcome to Workday. All this pop-up messages candidate will get. That's whatever the message he give welcome to Workday. Like if we type here that message once candidate fills his application, it will be intro message for them. Those which will come back a little later. And when it comes to required candidate home account, see if it is a mandate. Yes, it is mandate. Candidate home account has to be created, right? They have to check this box. And when it comes to account creation concept message, sometimes you will be saying like, thank you for applying. Like, we appreciate your interest in this position. We'll just come back to you shortly. Like that. Those messages will be there actually. If you, type in those and you keep it there, then the constant message will come. If you just will check everything in the, external career site, we'll wait and see. These are just basic things. And no need to remember everything. Nothing required actually. That is, which I am writing. And when it comes to enable candidate verification email, this is like related to a candidate account. Based upon his email, account will be created, right? Those things. And enable candidate fields in like, is it cooled up? I am not sure. I am not sure. I don't know this feature. But however, it is not much important. Just skip this. And enable candidate fields in notifications. You know when? Sometimes they'll be creating reports, right? We select the advanced reports, like views, business objects, like notification will be getting the option of candidate. This is actually, option of candidates. This is actually introduced last year, I hope. This feature. Again, not important. And reapply to job with like conditions. If you scroll down, you will be getting the features reply to your organization. Like this is, I'll tell you an example. Sometimes we apply for job, the requirements or something it will go on freeze. Again for reapplying, reply to your organization from candidate home and internal career sites for non-workers. This feature, this again work with a little bit. If you go to the job posting URL, it will actually, I'll show you that URL. How it's going to be? We have to enable this feature. And when it comes to privacy policy, this is link which is given to us by the client. And for that particular company, clients will give us this link. And you often see this, right? This one. You often see Instagram, those links at the end of the page like this kind of thing. And see, this is time to film. This is like I would say basically a report which checks the efficiency of the recruiter. Like how much time it took for, sharing the profiles or, to getting the closure, like to get into the offer stage, all those things. It's just a report for a recruiter. I would say a comment turnaround time he has took. The reports will be there, which I'll show you. The date, job requisition completed, requisition entered, all those things. Sometimes this feature will be used for talent and performance also. And job application stage order. We see, like yesterday I was explaining job application. These are the sub stages. Like review, screening, assessment, interview, offer. We can actually, which feature, like suppose client wants C after they don't want C. Interview should be prior to this. Like if you want this step review, phone screen, interview, again assessment, it will go like this. We can reorder these things according to the customer needs. In step should be ready for hire and initial stage of job application should be review. This is going to be like whatever the setting, we will do the same thing. It will apply. I will show you. Probably in the job application or like these are sub stages. Again, we are going to design VPs, each and everything to this. Just no need to remember. Just that's it from this. I am going to cancel this. Just I want to give you a little bit overview. I'm going to do a little bit. I don't need to remember anything. As I said, And let us see the time. I want to share this time. If it is there, it's not. Just wanted to show who is the hiring manager? What is the supervisor organization? Location. We can select who is the recruiter. How much you would have, probably shared the profile. All these details will get by this action. When it comes to prefixes, job application. When once job application is created, there will be one number something. It will be created. If you want to track that candidate, for example, I am a recruiter. I was able to process one profile job application for a review stage. Once candidate enters into the, review stage, there will be one code created. Like if you want to check that code for that particular candidate, I'll show you. Maybe level 0. In real time, what happens? It takes actually for us something like maybe like this. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. If we click on this one, 2, 4, 5, 6, it will take to the candidate. Suppose the candidate name is Rahul. It will take to that candidate. And we can just go and check that candidate's job application. Like that. We can check in the real-time scenario. Candidate C, A in the prefix. Just we can get and check. Suppose you want to check. You guys will be knowing, like workers. I can read a feature, Sometimes this feature, actually it should work. Like, who are all the employee worker column we give and we check. Particular employee, you want to check, we can give that feature. I don't know why it is not working. This is a job acquisition. And when you wanted to search for a job acquisition, for example, you have created one job acquisition. And maybe let's see if anything is coming. See, this is job acquisition. I just given crown name. For that crown. I know the name. Hence, I was able to see here. It was showing as open. Hemant was also asking right. Here, I'll explain you how it's going to be. This is job requisitions. See here. Candidate by active stage. Review stage. Phone screen. Assessment. Interview. Off. Reference check. Background check. And ready for head. Once candidate. See once a candidate applies for that, 2080-10. Crown work analyst right. We'll go to. I'll show you how. I think there is no job postings done. I hope. There was no job postings. But too early to go, because when I'm explaining job requisition, we'll go through. But I'll show you how. It just wanted to explain how it does. This is the tab job posting. The URL will be created, which I was discussing earlier. We can post the jobs here. And that once that URL is created straight away. Sometimes, we can share it in LinkedIn. And, we can share it through mails for few candidates also. Like suppose a candidate some may be executive level of hiring, we can share those links to the candidate to apply for the job. Once they apply, they'll come to review stage here, which we are going to see. Now we are not going actually in deep actually. Just wanted to see this candidate's details. See here job requisition supervisory organization, whether it's a spotlight job or not. I'm just walking through. See worker type employee, employee primary location, job posting location. And target type, that I mean they didn't view. Actually, that's the reason it is not showing actually. And apart from that, we can view just basic details only. You don't need to, remember or something. But however, these prefixes which I shared, job requisite, JR colon, you have to remember those things. We'll check what are the prospects data. See, there are details regarding overhead technologies. We'll see. This is a candidate who was applied, but he is not an active candidate. Like this, it will be there. And we'll walk through detailing. But just I'm showing how it's gonna be. You candidate, just I'm showing a few things. You candidate pools. Like this candidate pools or group particular search criteria. For example, we search for only, let's say, education. We put the criteria for MBA, for MCA, whatever it is. It will take the criteria based on that. And it will take. Based on that criteria, the candidates will be entered and we maintain a pool. This also again will go detailing. Don't want to, just showing those things. See candidate pools. Dynamic pool. We'll see how many are there. Crown dynamic pools. There is nobody there. It's there. See, few of the candidates are there. I was just telling right. So your candidate in 3. If you give candidate name, if you don't know the C, so you can 10th century. See here, 10th century date. This candidate has applied for the job requisition RRL sales manager. He is from India. He applied for this job. I'm just walking through, all those things. For whatever I explained, not much important, but only 2-3 features are important. Any other doubts? Shakuntal and Hemant. These are just, basic setups only. You're not going deeply till now. You were sharing the first screen, right? Where you update the acknowledgement going to the candidate when they create a profile and things like that, right? Like you mean to say, the very first screen when we started the session today. Any tenant setup recruiting. How did you go to that page? Awesome. See this one. In the production. Also, we are supposed to use the same term to get into this page, is it? Yes, of course. Because it is like we need to type edit tenant. Edit tenant setup. It's not only for recruiting. I'll just show you. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm just cancelling it. It will be there for HCMN. See here for edit tenant setup for workloads. Global HCM is also there. If you click on this, it will not work. Because I tried to click on this, probably, to check the settings. See, I tried our evening 6 o'clock. I'll try to click on this. Probably it may not work because they would have restricted it. Maybe in our tenant access, they would have restricted, but in real time, you will get this thing. When you say restricted, is it because you are into the recruiting module right now? No, not like that, Hammond. It's done by our cloud foundation. Probably. People go into that and they will, edit those things. When it comes to HCMM itself, it's for everybody, right? Probably they would have restricted. In real time, you will get the option, whatever you want to do, modifications or something. That's not really good actually. But for some reason, when we took the HCMM training, this was not shown to us. Do you know anything about it, Hammond? Not really. Even I'm on the same page. This was something new for me actually. In this edit tenant setup for HCMM, if it's opening, I can show you a few features. I'll do one thing tomorrow. I'll take some, how do you say it? Screenshots. If it is possible, some old screenshot I'll try to get. Let's see. HCM part we can give without job requisitions. Also, we can create a position. However, see when we are into recruitment, that's a pretty much important feature. When we create a position, job requisition also should come. But when you are into HCM, you will never create a job requisition, right? When you are into HCM, am I right, Hammond and Shagandala? Yes, we just create the position, but we don't create the job requisition, right? There was like a feature in edit tenant setup HCM. If you restrict it, once you create position, you have to create the job requisition. Else it will not fit. That I want to show, but however I was unable to do it. What I'll do is, if I get a screenshot tomorrow, I'll try to show you for 3 to 5 minutes. Edit tenant setup recruiting. You got some options there, right? Like sending an acknowledgement to the candidate when the account is created and things like that. Basically, what I understood from that is like, let's say as a candidate, I apply for a position in the company through the external site in the company website. The minute I apply, what email notification I get as a candidate is the content what you're trying to configure in the backend here, right? Absolutely right what you're saying. You got the point actually? Each and everything when we are trying to implement. Customer will give everything in the Excel sheet. He will provide us. Based on that, we will set up. If it is everything, see a few times what happens in real time. The customer which I am working, they were a bit critical. They know what they actually. A bit tricky customer. But, however, when you work with some other customers, when I worked previously, they don't know anything about that. That time it's different. But I rarely got this actually. These current companies, they know what they each and everything. That is what. And a few things I'll cover. Maybe if I get a time. At the end moment, I'll tell you a few things, also real time, which you might feel happy for 10 minutes. If you have a time, maybe 8 o'clock, we can start for 8 to 8. Is that? We can stretch the session for 10 more minutes. How the recruiting flow will work? Just we'll walk through the slides actually, that you'll get an idea how it's gonna work. See when you create job requisition. In tenant, if you go there, you put create job requisition. Create job requisition task. When you give that task, let me show you. This is the task. Create job requisition. Very, very important. We are not going to detail in, just an overview. Whatever the position, as Shakantala was telling, created positions, when I mean both of you are working for HCMM. Whatever the position you created, that should come here in the supervisory organization. However, I'll go very much detail into that now. And I'll give you some important interview questions. Here it will come. Few important questions. When we were doing it for our organization, I used to create the job requisitions. Under supervised your organization, we used to give the manager's name. See as if now the position is not created, right? Just I'm telling this stuff. We are not going anything into. Till now we are not going anything detail while. That is the reason. First 3-4 classes will go slowly. Once we start job requisition, we'll go little bit speed. And it will be easy for you guys. No need to worry. Once you start job requisition slowly again, evergreen job requisition. Again external career sites and designing of all the job application sub stages, review, screening, assessment one by one. And in between, I'll tell you how to create questionnaires where all we can attach those questionnaires. I'll show you probably, those phases which might tomorrow you can, while presenting the interviews, also you can tell this I have done this, that and all. That I'll tell you a little later. I had plans. No need to worry. We'll just come back to this time. Once you create job requisition task, we will enter few details. Once you enter all the details which is required, there will be details like whether it's a spotlight job, all those things. Don't want to go detail in, just the process. I want to explain at the end moment, we'll give click. We'll click on submit button. Once we click on submit button, job requisition business process will trigger. You know what I feel is, very important thing. And at the same time, you guys will be knowing higher business process also, right? Like you would have configured higher business processes. Then propose compensation higher, right? Suppose. When it comes to recruitment, what I think personally is we have to configure create position business process, job requisition business process. Sometimes interviewers might ask, but one of the interviewers he asked total process for me. Each and everything. How are you going to do? What are you going to do? Which, once we go detail everything, at the end moment you will get a picture what we are doing. That he asked me that question. I explained him for 10 to 15 minutes. This one time only they asked, but however it might be useful. Just I'm walking through. Create position business process. We want to, create that business process and job requisition business process. It will trigger once we click on submit button. Immediately the job requisition BP will trigger. In that we will give you details, all those things. Then we're going to configure job requisition business process, which will include a mandatory step as job posting. I'll tell you one example. See, when we are configuring higher business process, proposed compensation is a sub-process, right? In this job requisition business process, posting is a sub-process. We have to add this step mandatory, even, default. We should add this step actually. Posting this BP also will trigger posting BP. Once it is triggered, hence must be configured before triggering. Before triggering, we are to this posting BP. It's easy, couple of steps only, not more than that. Once that BP is triggered, what will happen? That posting. It's actually, it's a very simple email. It's the same way. We are actually, it's a very simple email. We can do that posting internally and externally. that option. I'll explain you. No, not the right moment to show you. Because when we do those job requisition, when I explain to you guys, you'll be doing just a matter of, 1 hour, half an hour. But once you learn, it's pretty easy. After that, you will be doing it easily. And I'll explain you to take the internal candidate and we'll send that internal candidate. Because sometimes what happens in our customer place, which we will be sending few, we have done few test cases, sending some internal candidates and checking. I'll come back to you. Each and everything I'll explain. We can post the job either internally or externally. You might be having a question. If I post a job externally, that site will be there. It will go on. That job will be posted. For example, KP Manji, in that career site, the job posting which is done, it will be posted there. The candidate straight away, he can go and apply for the job. What about internal? What about internal? When you post a job, what happens? Do you have any idea? Hamid and Shokandala post a job internally. When we post a job externally, you guys know how it is going to reflect in the external career sites. Like let's say a few company websites like KPMG or HP, whatever it is, Deloitte, whatever it is. There will prospect, can go there and I can apply for the job requisition. Once he applies, he will become an active candidate. That yesterday also, we expect same thing. When we post a job internally, how the candidate is going to apply? Do you have any idea? It would be posted on the organization's website. And if you think that you're fit for the job, you would go ahead and apply for the job. And the next process would be same. You review him. And then maybe you might not screen him, but push him forward to the interview. You're almost correct. But in work detail terminology, there is a task called for internal jobs. Find jobs report. What are the posting you are done? See, based on the primary location hiring manager, it will come here. We can search here and get that particular job requisition. See here, posting it externally. Same job, we are posting it internally also. When we post it internally, immediately it will come here. It will come here and it will reflect here. Important thing is, if internally candidate has to be applying for this job, what has to be done? Any put, any int, any answer. I am in the shop, people. See, externally the candidate is outside. It was not into the system. He'll apply for the job when internally he was able to find this item. Let's say this is an internally job posted. I was able to click this job posting. Let's see. I'm not sure whether it's internal. For this, a candidate has to be applying any idea. Internal person has to apply. How it gonna happen? I think, if I'm not wrong, they will have a tab to apply for it through Workday and they will submit their application. You're correct. I know the important point is suppose Hammond is an employee. He will go in. Suppose we are in testing phase. I am doing a testing actually. Let's say I am doing one testing. I can go to Hammond's profile. I can give here Hammond profile internal candidate because I'll be knowing his name, data and all. I'll give Hammond. In behalf of the candidate, I'll go. I'll proxy in as Hammond then while doing testing, update. You said correctly, Hammond. You are absolutely right. When we do some time, testing internal candidate, there might be some cases that we have to test those cases. In that situation, you have to proxy in as a Hammond. And you would. Once you proxy in as Hammond, you will put find jobs. You give that task. You will come here and you will apply here. Now we are not in the candidate prospect. We can, apply here. You will get an option for apply. Probably, maybe mobile number, email ID we can change. Or in my customer place, I think it will ask whether the internal candidate is work for 1 year, not less than that, else it will not take. Your restrictions will be there. We can give and the candidate will be taken forward. Like this. Don't worry. Just a giving overview. The question, what you asked me now, with the explanation, what you shared, is that the answer for that was employee need to go ahead and type find job in the search field to get into this portal. When you proxy in C, when you are proxying as a Hammond, because you're employee, you will be proxying in your credential. When you want to apply, you can apply. But when I am testing Hammond's profile, whether it will work or not, I am going to test. That time I will proxy in as your profile and I'll do those testing. Got? For a candidate or a user experience perspective, I think using an option of search field to find the position internally might not be relevant is what I personally feel. Because you might have much more options under the menu tab, like personal career tab, where you can try to go ahead and find the internal job positions easily. We can filter it here. We can filter it like primary location, hiring manager, Jamily, job category, job profile, organization, management level. We can filter and we can give it the search also, whatever you want. Can you also type on the menu? Click on the menu tab towards your left and top. This one, right? No, not on the top. On the top. Click on that. Over here, you also should have an option of career. No, we'll learn career. Career. If you go click on this career, it should also take you to the same page where you can look at the find job, open jobs, right? Correct. That's true. Absolutely. Very good. From an end user experience, I think this should be the reliable way on how they can find jobs internally and submit application. Absolutely. Correct. This is also that sometimes here onboarding. I didn't work much, but I have a little bit idea on that. Onboarding feature will be added. We can just go through all those things. We'll come back. Detail it. No. Vishnu, why did we talk about the test environment with start proxy? Why sometimes. I'll explain you in 5 minutes. Because you are asking real-time scenario, right? You want that, right? Once I finish this couple of slides, I'll tell you. I guess I said real time. I'll tell when I would tell. Once we post the job internally or externally, then we click on that, click on submit and URL will be generated on the job posting, requisition posting tab. I was also showing in the job requisition there is a job posting tab, right? Under that one URL will be created. Candidate can apply using that URL present on external or internal side. That URL also we can write, right? Just process, I'm explaining. And once it is done, job application business process will trigger when candidate submits the job application. Here, once candidate is applied for the job requisition, once he is applied, this BP will trigger job application and dynamic business process. Why we say this dynamic business process is normal? I said normal higher BP is under A, B, C, D, like it is static BP, right? We go according to the sequence, but here in job application, as I said earlier, we can just customize. We can send back to the previous stage. Again, we can move further. According. This also will be done, guided by the customer, this implementation. Customer will be guiding all this. No need to, worry. Once it is done, configure job requisition PPs, which will include mandatory step as posting. See, in job requisition, there will be a step called, as I said, posting is mandatory. See, in higher BP, proposed compensation is a sub-process right. Like that, we're gonna add this posting in the job requisition as a step. I'll explain you further when we are going to design those business processes. Once posting, business process will trigger, hence must be configured before triggering. That's what it is telling. We have to configure everything. As overall, I would say in this process, first we are going to, as per my knowledge, create position. We are going to business process will trigger. And job requisition business process will design. Job posting business process will design. And if it is required for evergreen, we can configure that. Apart from that, I think we are on the same page. I think I went to again that bit. I'm sorry I got confused. I'm really sorry. I explained the process. Whatever I explained, that is absolutely correct. Those BPs and all. Once can you click on submit, and once the URL is created, this is done right. Till job application, it is done. Configure job application business process before it's triggered. We see in this job application business process, as I said, it's a dynamic one. Here we configure like possible stages. Under that, there will be a column called like dispositions. What are the dispositions we can add there? Because to decline the kind of disposition, nothing but decline the job applications. The reasons right. This is dynamic one. Here we will configure all those things. Once it is done, make sure each segment of job application BP are configured. That means, which I explained to you right now, possible sub, stages and disposition reasons. We have to configure that. It's pretty easy. Only you might be thinking, but however, it is easy only. It's easy. One time if you do, you can do it pretty easily. After that, we go to design business processes like sub-stages, review, screening, assessment interview, offer and employment agreement, reference check and ready for hire. All those. It is we are going to design all those things. Once these are configured, move candidate forward till ready for hire or decline candidate with appropriate disposition reason. We can move the candidate because based on his performance, we can move the candidate. For example, candidate is really fit, we will take him to ready for hire. Else, we can decline the candidate based upon the disposition. Disposition reason might be the case. For example, there will be a candidate. We will send him till the offer stage, but he might not be interested with the compensation. We have to decline that job application. Reason saying that candidate is not happy with compensation. Compensation reason we can put just one. They will be already designed that step. We can put that and we can do the configurations. Like that, the designing will happen actually. Any doubts? Just to explain, we will go indefinitely, all in deeply. We will go further in our further sessions. Just a moment, I will take my battery is little bit dry. Any doubts, Hemant and Shakuntala? Vishnu? Shakuntala was asking the real-time scenario. I will tell you some good things with Workday partner companies. I will tell my own experience. See, when you go into a new company, for example, some company, let's say XYZ, a work department company, what happens actually? You know in real-time scenario as you go into the system, to get the credentials, only it will take 30 days. To get into the project, sometimes 1 month, 2 months, or it might take another 1 month. Sometimes it might take 4 or 3 months also. Like you might not be having any project till 2 to 3 months. If everything goes well in permanent, you know what happens? You might get the credentials, everything after. Once you join everything, 1 month, 1.5 months, you will get everything. Once you get into the project, there were, instances in the companies. What's going to happen? They're not going to the company which I work. They're not going to give you straight away scenarios and make you to work. Initially, when I joined, some XYZ company, I got some 7 scenarios. In the 7 scenarios, first scenario has been asked like, see those scenarios. I would say, not into your work, not into your work. But however, those are like, I would say, to get practiced into the tenant. See, they like practiced in the sense their first scenario will be create a position and they will only give which supervisory organization you need to go, you need to proxy in, and you need to create a position. And once you create a position, sometimes they'll give maybe director or they'll only give that scenario you need to. Job requisition will trigger, right? Once it is triggered, candidate will come to review stage. We'll take that candidate to ready for type. Why they give all those things? To get habituated with the work. Ideally, in the planner, they will assign these things. But, however, in the real time, when you start the work, the good thing which I felt is I was having with the 17-year-old only. I was habituated with the tenant. And it is not actually a work actually. After that, for that, and pretty important thing is once you enter into the system, once you get all the credit, one more thing you will be getting some KTV videos initially regarding that particular process of the company. It might take a week for you to go through all those videos, each and everything. What is that they are using? Whether they are using BPs, how they are designing, what are the job profiles they are using, how they are using those evergreen job requisitions, all those things within a week. It takes time, but they will give that time to you. Once you go through those KTV videos, then they will assign this planner work. But actually the initial point in time, the work they will give, the work which has assigned to me those 7 scenarios, not actually a work. To get into tenant, they are given that work. For example, one more scenario I will tell you. I have to move a candidate I need to take New Jersey candidate and I have to move the candidate till offer stage. Again renegotiating the offer letter, I have to come back and again move the candidate to ready for sale. Here actually it is not a work, but however we are taking a candidate, we are going just to the external career site. And we can, we can post the jobs, we can. Just this is a kind of, to have it fit. At the same time, you can choose any candidate. We can create anything to have it fit. And apart from that, sometimes they'll give some test scripts also. Let's say test scripts means test scripts is nothing, but there are a few onboarding scripts which has assigned to me to habituate with the process. Like, see, how do we do each and everything process? It will be written everything in the step by step. For example, you have to, once a candidate is reaching, and step by step, they will only write that script. You have to just go and execute. Because step by step, once we are executing, you will understand that onboarding process well. Ideally, it's not a planner work for me, but they'll give you test scripts. If you read the scripts, you will be able to understand what needs to be done. You have to click on Submit button. Once you click on Submit job requisition, it will trigger. Like that, it will be written step by step. Like the way we see, it is written in English like we see, right? Click on Submit and URL will get. And I mean like that it will be written, those scripts. You mean to say everything is documented? Yeah, absolutely. Understood. Like that kind of scenario they'll give when you joined initially. Good companies will give. Good companies like Word. But this was my good experience. Like everything they are documenting and they are making, we can take any candidate. You can apply, from the any job requisition, just they needed data. We are sending that candidate to ready for help. Like that, and all those scripts will be there. We can. In the planner it will be assigned. But we will be. A good thing is we will be habituated with the process. At the same time, by seeing those documents, you'll be able to do it perfectly. But once you know the process, it's pretty easy. A few times our friends, colleagues will be there, right? Which we don't, they will also help actually. This is the good thing which I felt actually. Straight away, I didn't get a work, to be honest. That is what I want to share. Let's go actually. We're going to be honest. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.